Ahoy and welcome. Captain Dad here, bringing you another episode of Riftbound Nexus Nights. Today we have Lee Sin versus Kaisa. Kaisa player playing Watchful Sentry on his first turn, passing it over. We have Captain Dad versus Mark today. We are in Descent into Gaming down here in Bradenton, Florida. And yeah, getting things started off here quickly. Captain Dad playing the Sunlit Guardian for his first turn. Looks like we have Monastery of Harana Battlefields coming out for Lee Sin, Dreaming Tree coming out for the Kaisa player. So yeah, I think that's everything going on so far. Watchful Sentry moving up into the Dreaming Tree. First point onto the board for Mark. And he passes it back to Captain Dad. I have to admit, this is going to be one of the most embarrassing games I've ever played. But I think it's going to hopefully bring you a smile or maybe a laugh by the time we get to the end of this first game. I know it certainly did for me. Yeah. With that, I'm not going to spoil too much more. Feel free to hang out. This one's a little bit longer of a first game, but again, you'll see why. Sunlit Guardian moving into Monastery of Harana to start the showdown. Mark takes his priority to play Void Seeker, deal 4 damage to a unit at a battlefield. And looks like while that's on the stack, Discipline played in reaction by Captain Dad. It's going to give that Sunlit Guardian, originally he was at 4 might with his buff, that Void Seeker would have killed him +2, so that puts him up to 6. And then spending the buff right there would leave him with 1 might. So he will survive for the turn. Scoring a point, Captain Dad evens it out. Each player do get the draw card off of their spells. And Captain Dad using the extra 2, playing the Pit Rookie, rebuffing the Sunlit Guardian. Yeah, not too bad, I would think, so far. Seems like efficient plays. I mean, now that I've played this deck a few more times and rebuilt it not to go second, that's what I told my opponents this game here. And yeah, I do believe I won the dice roll and did allow him to go first, so that's how this game started. Anyway, this game brings me lots of laughs and smiles, so you're going to hear me constantly chuckling back here, and we'll get to it when we get to it, like I said. Kaisa player, oh yeah, Falling Star. It's going to mop up the board there. Takes care of both units from Captain Dad, Pit Rookie, and the Sunlit going into the trash. Playing the Stupefy on his own Sentry there, getting the Dreaming Tree trigger for 2 draw cards. Passing it back to Captain Dad, looks like. And yeah, big shout out to Descent into Gaming for letting me come in, film a few games here today. Lee Sin coming out from the Champion Zone. And Zonia's Hourglass, a little protection. It's definitely a good feeling when you have your main unit on the board and a way to protect it. I have discovered that it's not the end-all be-all that it feels, that it once felt like if you're playing Chaos. If Fading Memories hits that, it bounces the Zonias, and the unit keeps the effect from vanishing. So it will kill your Zonias and then kill your unit the very next turn. So as long as you're not playing Chaos, it feels a lot better. Mark moving up to 3 points at the beginning of this turn, playing his Ravenbloom student, forgetting to untap his Sentry here for the second turn in a row, but that's okay. We got a Lecturing Yordle and a Ravenbloom student here at the base from Mark, so he's got a good little board development. Passing the turn back to Captain Dad here. while we got a little lull in the turn here. How's everybody doing out there? You guys staying warm? Winter storm taking an effect. The rest of the country's freezing, and I took my daughter to the beach yesterday. It was great. So yeah, Captain Dad, a little banter here, thinking that he might be able to do something big since Mark is tapped out. That's what he just said there out loud. Let's see what he thinks he can do. Starting the turn off here, we use the leader ability Legend to buff the champion Lee Sin, moving him up to 6 might. And deciding whether he wants to move to Harana or the Dreaming Tree. Dreaming Tree, it looks like. Yeah, good attack. So yeah, with Mark playing both units, Ravenbloom students last turn, it leads me to question why he would have played that first one at the battlefield if he was going to play the second one at his base. Tapping out, just kind of left it up there for sacrifice versus, you know, casting it to his base and possibly moving his other unit back to his base as well once he saw the Lee Sin. I don't know. But Lee Sin using his champion ability there to give himself a buff. Playing another first mate to give him another buff. Let's see here, counting mana, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, I don't know if I like this. Again, now that I've played this deck a little bit more and understand the game a lot better, I feel like the play with the first mates, if you have them, is to retreat your big units back after you score, unless you're on a specific battlefield like Grove of the Godwillow. I think that's the only one that really comes to mind that you really want to hold the entire game. But score your points, get off if you're unsure, or if you're ever facing a Thousand Tail Watcher, I think you just have to score your point and get back. That's how I feel about it now, playing them enough. So moving back to Mark here, score is 2-3, Mark's up. Looks like he will play his Kaisa, and he's going to play it accelerated. And moving it into Monastery of Harana. Yeah, scoring a point, drawing a card there. Mark going up to 4. Yeah, so far it's been pretty clean play by both players, I'd say. Other than the Ravenbloom casting on Mark, that was kind of for free. He does cast another Ravenbloom here, going to Monastery to back up his Kaisa. And seeing, 6 might represented by Captain Dad on his board, that makes a little bit better sense. He could play a spell there and pump it. 6 would go into any spell would give him an advantage there on Monastery of Harana. I've watched a few games since I put this video together, so I really don't remember what I do here for the next couple of turns. But I know towards the end of this match, I kind of check out. I don't know if I had too much rum that day or if I was too tired. But Udyr coming down to the base. Little toolbox of a champion. Gives you a few different options if you can buff him. I think he really only fits well in Lee Sin, maybe Set. But I think Set has too many other tools. Using the Legend ability on Udyr, we're going to spend that buff and try to deal 2 damage to the Ravenbloom student and force some interactions. Yeah, looking back at this now, as I'm casting this, I feel like, I see 2 mana open. I'm just so traumatized from that smoke screen. I think that's what it is. So otherwise, I feel like the correct play here is ready the Udyr. just send the Udyr in with a couple of the first mates and you know, see what happens. Even if they do play the smokescreen, I think that would be an even trade still. But instead, deciding to go in with 2 pit rookies here after spending the Udyr buff. One of them getting Hextech, Raid, and being able to trade 1 unit. So getting the Ravenbloom student in the end. And Kais is going to hold on to that battlefield. One of the pit rookies will stay alive off of the Zhonya's Hourglass trigger. Captain Dad scoring a point this turn moves him just 1 under Mark here. So still, yeah, pretty close game. Spending his champion ability to throw another buff up there. With the hidden card, I think that maybe he's not so much afraid of the Thousand Tail Watcher, but all just depends on what the hidden card is, I guess. Mark opening up his turn, awakening everything, going up to 5 points here. Has his lecturing Yordle on his base, Kais up on the battlefield. Although he is pretty significantly behind on the board as far as might goes. If I do a quick count, it looks like 9 plus 5 would be... Excuse me, it's not going to matter now. Falling Star. And Lee Sin or targeting Udyr? There we go. Yes, sir. Taking the Udyr out. Playing Watchful Sentry up on the Monastery of Harana, giving a little backup for the Kaisa. So yeah, looking back at that Udyr just kind of came out and did nothing. I feel like if you're going to use the buff, use it to ready him and attack in. Otherwise, sit back, buff him, and then just let him cook for a turn. You're not that far down. Captain Dad opening up his turn, scoring a point from his Lee Sin hold, 4 to 5. And yeah, still relatively within range here. If you do the swap, get the Lee Sin back into a position where he can attack into the other battlefield. If Mark's going to sit up there and defend, I think that Captain Dad has the advantage as far as might goes in the deck building. Challenge coming out from Captain Dad. Lee Sin the target into Kaisa. And Mark retreat coming out for the interaction. Kaisa going back to his hands, channeling a rune. Effectively fizzling out the challenge. Another 6 mana, 6 energy, recycling 1 power. Second Udyr coming down to the base. So yeah, Udyr coming down. Looks like we're going to use the legend and buff the Udyr, spend the buff, ready him, allowing to attack in both of them together into the monastery, it looks like the plan is. Still not quite sure if that's the right play or not, but I don't think it's a bad play. Good might, feels good, let's see. Any interaction? Moving into the battlefield, yeah, deciding if that was the right call or not, but deciding that even if he does smokescreen, he should still have the advantage to get the point back. So finally showing some nerves. Looks like Mark does have a little bit of interaction here, some play. It is Kaisa, you should expect that if they've got 4 or 5 energy up. And looks like the Hextech Ray coming down, 3 damage to Udyr. Trading his units into the damaged Udyr. Captain Dad goes up 5. Evens the game out, 5 to 5, recycling 1. And now maybe we can let the laughs begin. I don't believe I saw Captain Dad mark his point there. So let the laughs begin here as he begins to fall behind on his scoreboard. 5-5 is what we got on the official tracker here, but 4-5, I believe, is what is written on the scoreboard. As I can't see what's going around the room or what the players are doing here, I can't exactly recall what happened or if I was distracted or what happened for the rest of this game, but it seems like I said I've checked out. More or less. Mark opening up his turn.
Yes. Yeah.
And then black comes in, everything's dead. I'm bringing everything back. After deck is gone.
Yep, they're good.
3, 4, 5 energy. Recycling 1. All right, Kaisa coming down, accelerated for Mark. Captain Dad shows the Zonias. Moves back first mate to the base. Kaisa scores a point, going up to 6. And yeah, so we seem to remember to keep track of Mark's points, but Captain Dad, 4-6 on his scoreboard, it looks like. That's gonna be the start of the bad news here for Captain Dad, it looks like. Lee Sin getting completely out of control up there with 5 buffs and a hidden card. 6 points though on the hold for Captain Dad. Again, we forget to see him reach over there and score his point on his counter. So still 4-5, 4-6 on his board. Playing the Poro down at the Dreaming Tree, moving the Lee Sin back will allow him to keep his hidden card retained at the battlefield. And see, you know, Captain Dad, if you would have held back one of those first mates right now, you'd be able to double move your Lee Sin. So something to consider. Legend ability comes down, adding a 6th buff to his champion Lee Sin. Wondering if he should play the first mate in. No, deciding that he can keep him back at the base. Passing turn to Mark. Hold up to 7. And again, Captain Dad, no problem marking the points of his opponent. And let's see what Mark does here. Plenty of energy, plenty of cards in hand. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's 6, 7. Acathian Rain coming down. And Mark choosing to target Lee Sin Aesthetic, the champion there on the base, with all the damage. That would be 12, I believe. So 6 buffs plus 5. 11 is his life total. But in response, Stand United coming down, buffing the Poro at the battlefield, but also allowing all buffs to give an additional 1. Therefore, buffs giving an additional 1 is going to add an additional 6 to that 11. 17 might, taking 12 damage. Not a bad play, not a bad play. Moving the Kaisa back to the base. As we can see in Mark's hand, it looks like he's got a Hex Tech, so something he can easily deal with the Poro there if he wanted. A Cleave, looks like. A Darius. Yeah, I can't quite tell what that other card is. Hex Tech Ray, yep, coming down onto the Poro. Now, technically, that's not right, I don't think, because Poro should be at 4 because of the Stand United that's active this turn instead of 3. So, yeah, let's go misplay again for Captain Dad. Or what's going on here, Captain Dad? Why did you pull that buff off that Poro? Regardless, before that Poro dies, it looks like he's trying to play the Discipline. So Dreaming Tree Trigger gets just a draw card. But with Poros technically at 4, he should be alive by 1. Unnecessary play to play the Discipline. Let's say that he was going to die, though. You play the Discipline in. Why did you take the buff away? Okay, yeah, not quite sure what's going on there, but you know what? It works, I guess. So 4 plus 2, he's at 6. Now the buff's back. Buff comes back. It's in the right place. Can't complain about that. Noxus Hopeful comes down from Mark on the second play for a couple extra mana, leaving 2 of his energy open for some interaction on his turn. Captain Dad scores a point, goes up to 7 himself. Goes about his ABCs at the beginning of a turn. So I am definitely going to not drink as much rum before my next Nexus night. Well, that's probably a lie. No, I have no excuses for this. If this is any sort of entertaining, I think I deserve a like for this. Lee Sin aesthetic coming up into the battlefield, spending a buff on that Conquer. And technically going up to win the game. So that would have been the game winner. That's okay. Let's keep playing here since we forgot the point. Let's see what happens here. I think this was probably my 10th or 11th event in a row. So I've been playing for about 2 weeks straight. So I might be a little bit tired, I think is my only excuse. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. Technically, game is over as Captain Dad is at 8 points, but we're going to run it. We're going to see what happens here. Hiding a card for Captain Dad. Let the laughs begin as I proceed to facepalm myself over here in real life. And hiding a second card for Captain Dad. Both battlefields hidden. We got Stand Uniteds, we got Zonia's Hourglasses, although I believe 2 Zonias have already been played, so... Passing it back to Mark. Mark taking a few moments here to decide what he's going to do here with this point lead that he has over Captain Dad's scoreboard. Yeah, I think we have it tracked 5-7 on the scoreboards is what it looks like. Cleave coming down from Mark, choosing the Noxus Hopeful. Second cleave coming down, choosing his Kaisa. Both of them at 4 might, so with the assaults 3, going to give them 7. That'll move them up to 14. Oh, well here, a new hidden card, Block. Give a unit +3 shield on defense, +3 on defense as it's shield 3 and tank. So right now, Captain Dad, we got 3 + 3 might represented, plus another 3, so that'd be 9. Which allows you to take 1. Stand United coming down as well, so the buffs really just give +1 extra, so 10 is what I count. Poro's at what? 4 + 3, that's 7, plus First Mate is 10. And yeah, Discipline into 12, still too short of 14. Drawing cards, trying to see what we can get here. Would have been helpful to have a second Discipline. But looks like Mark is going to, even before that resolves, resolve his own reaction here. Smokescreen coming down, yeah, -4. So that's going to blow out this engagement pretty big. We'll still get a couple of draws for our Dreaming Tree and our Discipline trigger. Now I do get to kill at least 1 unit here, so we'll take the Kaisa off. Definitely inefficient, I can say, Captain Dad. Unnecessary to play. Don't know if we should have played that Stand United. We should have hid that. Captain Dad opening up another turn here, going into 9 points, I believe. Trying to do some math. I think he's got himself up to 6 points counted on his scoreboard. 6 to 7. But looks like in reality it's actually 9 to 7 with, Captain Dad scoring extra points this game, it looks like. Continuing on. So it is intimidating playing into Kaisa, as she seems to be the most represented, most winning champion here in all these tournaments and everything for set 1. But when you're trying to play to 10 points, I think you're going to be at a clear disadvantage. Playing a Kraken Hunter, excuse me. Playing accelerated. And yeah, reducing his cost with Lee Sin buffs there. Should move him up to 6 might into that Nexus. And yeah, second smokescreen. That's gonna be that massive blowout that I am so traumatized by. Fist bumps, all right, yeah, there we go. I hope you enjoyed that first one. So here we go, game 2, Captain Dad versus Mark. And after that last match, for getting to Mark 2 points, going up to 9 for a total, and still letting Mark win the round, I think Captain Dad deciding to let Mark go first here in this game as well. Watchful Sentry coming out on turn 1, just like game 1. Yeah, seemed like that worked game 1. Let's do it again game 2 for him. Starting game 2 here, we got the Dreaming Tree coming out for Lee Sin. Star-Tipped Peak coming out for Kaisa. Captain Dad playing Sunlit Guardian on his first turn. And yeah, basically the same opening from both players here at this point. This second game's going to go a lot quicker here. I don't think anything could take quite as long as that first game. I mean, when you're trying to play to 10 or whatever I was doing, it's going to take forever. Kaisa coming down to the base. Watchful Sentry going up into the Star-Tipped Peak for the first point. Mark getting his first point of the game. Looks like this Kaisa deck is built pretty low to the ground. Very explosive off the start. Both games coming out with a strong start. Starting this off, Sunlit Guardian going into the Dreaming Tree, evening out the game 1-1. Recycling a rune, using all the power, playing the Lee Sin to the Dreaming Tree? Question mark? And hiding a card, it looks like. Okay. Not the worst idea if you got Zonia's out. Otherwise, I really don't like playing your champion to the base or to the battlefield otherwise, considering that he's got his Kaisa already down on the board. Channeling an extra rune. That's what that exhausted rune there is. From the battlefield, scoring a point. Mark going up to 2. Looks like he's got a retreat in his hand. Falling Star. Stupefy. A couple different options he can go with here this turn. Let's see what he decides. Falling Star coming down. 6 damage towards the Lee Sin. Stand United being shown. The buff put him up to, that would put him up to 7, but no, if you stupefy in reaction to the Stand United, there we go. Yeah, that'll work. 6 plus the 1 of the stupefy. 6 damage sticks, excuse me, as the stupefy takes effect. So even though he's at 7 might, once the stupefy takes in 6 might with 6 damage. Kaisa coming in to clean that battlefield up, scoring another point, Mark up to 3. Yeah, that's what happens if you don't play Zonya's Hourglass. That's just terrible, bud. Choosing to play the champion to the battlefield. Probably another misplay for Captain Dad here. First mate coming down. Using an extra energy there to give the first mate a buff. Passing it back to Mark. With Mark and his Kaisa on the field and Captain Dad without his Lee Sin available. Oh, looks like he has Thousand Tail Watcher in his hand as well. Yeah, I think this one's pretty much already over. Well, hey, if you made it this far, just want to say thank you. Hopefully you got a laugh from that first game. I think this second game is going to be much more one-sided. It would have been interesting to see how it would have gone if we would have stopped playing when Captain Dad originally hit 8 points. But, you know, that's why you play. You get better. You learn from your mistakes. And I can tell you, I will never, ever do that again. And if you're watching this, hopefully you will never, ever do that ever in your life. Recycling a rune there. Playing Sabotage. Being able to look at his hand. We see Retreat, Darius, Acathian Rain was the other one there. Yeah, pulling Acathian Rain. That's efficient, I think. One recycled mana to be able to hit their most powerful spell in the deck is what that card was designed and built for. Deciding what we're going to do with the extra remaining mana of the turn. 2, 4, 6 we got left open. So I know we got Udyr in here that we've seen in game 1, so that's, you know, an option. Start rebuilding. But no, we're gonna pay 2 orange. Carnivorous Snapvine. Forgot I even played that, to be truthfully honest. Targeting Kaisa. Retreat coming out for Mark. And is that Unyielding Spirit I see in Dad hand? See, knowing that, maybe you let him keep the Acathian Rain and take the Retreat since you don't have a counter. Maybe that would have been another play that you could have done there. Captain Dad, we're going to mark that as a misplay. What's that, number 3? Number 4? Do you guys remember? Keep track, throw me a comment, let me know. Is it 3 or 4 misplays? Still, we got a big body. Passing it back to Mark here, it looks like. And Captain Dad saying that 1 point might be the only one he gets this turn. Well, you know, if you learn how to keep track points a little bit better, you'd at least have a game this game, and we'd be going into a third game. But alas, on to new voyages, on to new seas, on to new views. Let's forget about this, please. A little banter back and forth between the players here. Captain Dad admitting that he's probably defeated. Mark in a position of control with points here at 6. Unit on the board. Plenty of runes to work with. That star-tipped peak really coming in clutch for him. That Watchful Sentry being able to just come in and basically go unanswered. Allow him to feed his board with an already kind of tilted champion when it comes to being able to play power. Kaisa coming down accelerated. Mark going into that Dreaming Tree for his 7th point. And deciding if he wants to play anything else. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, add the 5th. We'll play Darius at the battlefield, passing back to Captain Dad. Yeah, I don't hate it. Knowing that he has Thousand Tail Watcher and is back pocket feels pretty good. And only having 6 energy means that, yeah, Captain Dad, very limited. Playing a Mistfall. First time I think we've seen that card. When you buff a friendly unit, you can pay a body power, and you can ready that unit. So a little synergy with Captain Dad, but a card that I can say I dropped since coming upon some more powerful cards. Charming Kaisa off of the battlefield, back to the base. Carnivorous Snapvine moving in, getting the Darius. Hey, Captain Dad getting a 2nd point. Better than nothing. Carnivorous Snapvine, gonna hang out there for a minute or 2, but with nothing else really to play here, I think this one's just about over. Yeah, there we go. End of game 2. GG. Great game, Mark. If you made it to the end, I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. And how tough was that one to watch? Oh, glad it's over. Have you ever misplayed so badly to give up a game? Let me know below. Heading back to Tampa for the next episodes. We'll see you soon.